Hey, comic peoples out in the interworld. We are back without the old man this time. Just us. I'm sorry.
He is old, isn't he?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, this is what we do when you're gone. We just make fun of how old you are. Anyway.
Aging.
Right. Anyway, moving on. There are a lot of comic books this week. In fact, we had to do 2 videos. One bringing you the latest in the DC Rebirth, which you can watch as well, probably right where you clicked on this one as well. But we're going to bring you other comics because,
Those
other
exist.
people, than DC publish comic books.
It's crazy, isn't it?
I know, it's astounding. Why don't we start off with Image Comics? Because, you know what, they're probably about more popular than DC these days, maybe?
Yeah, that's for sure.
So, let's see what on the other side of the spectrum is.
This is actually a big return for Image. The 4th issue of The Goddamned from Jason Aaron, R.M. Wera, the team behind Scalped. Not even, the first arc break.
Right.
They went 3 issues, and then R.M. Ware was like, hey, sorry, I'm way too good at art. I'm going to need a bit more time on this.
Yeah.
So a few months later, we have the 4th issue of the saga of Cain and Noah on the pre-flood biblical Earth.
Look at this guy. Look at that cover.
Yeah, look at that beard. And that big axe.
Huge.
He's the only man with iron in the wastes. This is just the most hardcore, if you're kind of disappointed with the Conan comics going on right now, and you need more,
burliness,
blood and piss and crap and just axes to the head.
and everything covered in mud.
Yeah, and flying trees, you need this comic in your life. And also, it's Jason Aaron, so everyone's just swearing out the wazoo.
Yeah, non-Marvel Jason Aaron, which is always a bit better.
Oh, yeah.
And from Valiant this week, the 2nd issue of their Super Summer Blockbuster crossover, 4001 AD. Matt Kint, Clayton Crane, bringing you the cyber future adventures of Rai, who is the greatest instrument of political intrigue and death and action and all sorts of coolness made by the weird AI that runs New Japan. And what happens when the AI gets a virus and has to start jettisoning people, whole neighborhoods and whole colonies just to Earth. Like, oh, you got a virus, I gotta save my body. So Rai's trying to stop hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of his countrymen from just falling to their death horribly. And in true Japanese fashion, it's a great honor to burn to death as a crisp in your, crashing down. But you've got giant cybernetic dragons in giant Exo Man of War mech things. Lots of fighting, lots of cool action. Very cool Valiant stuff. Been a lot of fun.
And from DC, something with slightly less fighting, although more than you would expect.
Right?
A blast from the past. This is Prez. No, not the beautifully illustrated Ben Caldwell Prez with Corndog Girl as the first team president, but the 1970s ridiculous Joe Simon, yes, that Joe Simon, Jerry Grandinetti, Prez, the first team president. Do you see this guy? This is Prez Rickard. He has a sweatshirt that says his name on it.
And
It shows
picture of
you
his face.
he is the president. I wish his face was on there. That would be beautiful. But this is totally whacked out, barely even lasted 5 issues.
Well, there's even the canceled issues in there in black and white.
Comics Cavalcade. Look that one up,
Super
kids.
cool.
But this has a few things you can't really get away with in a comic these days, like his shirtless, not so politically correct Native American vice president, I think. Also a Dracula. He fights a Dracula in the White House. It's pretty awesome. This also includes the really cool Sandman issue that Mike Allred did featuring Prez, a really short Prez story by Eric Shanower, and I forget who this one was written by. I want to say Ed Brubaker, but I feel like that's not right at all.
No, it is Brubaker.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah, I was right. It is Brubaker. Hey, Ed. And also, 5 pages of The Dark Knight Strikes Again, because it is legitimately the best thing Frank Miller ever did.
Yep.
Fight me.
That's right. No, I'll back him on that. That's right. It is pretty much every Prez appearance ever.
Yeah.
In one book. Because you didn't know you needed that. From Vertigo, Art Ops. The new book from Sean Simon, Michael Allred, and Laura Allred, and Matt Brundage. This is the weird, bizarre, art thief, metaphysical, crime, sci-fi comic thing that twists my brain every time I look at it. Mike Allred provides finishes over Matt Brundage, providing this, it really comes out with this eerie type of thing, because you look at it and you're like, oh cool, Mike Allred comic, and then it's got this, unsettling, I don't know, undertone to it where everything is just a little off. But then you're like, well, that's the colors of Laura Allred, but it's still weird. And it adds to the strangeness of this whole comic book. And it's very like 60s go-go, just like all their stuff. But man, that's a lot of bathroom. Okay, I will say one thing. They did put Daft Punk on Toilet, and I don't think Daft Punk existed yet. But anyway, this is very cool. First 6 issues together. Second arc starts with a great Eduardo Risso story. So yeah, highly recommended from Vertigo this week.
And also this week, Marvel has Civil War 2. What's your next book?
Yeah, right? Way better than Marvel Civil War 2. We have the most highly anticipated movie of the year, totally blowing out Captain America. That's right, Turtles 2 featuring Bebop and Rocksteady, which is a perfect time to release Bebop and Rocksteady Destroy Everything.
Ooh.
Because that's what they do. Like,
Did they destroy Michael Bay?
No, they paid... You know how much money Michael Bay paid them? No, they got his back, actually. They're bouncing people out of his way. This is truly 2 of the greatest characters, not just to be created in the Turtles, but just generally.
Pretty much.
Total dumb punks, mutated for reasons beyond their understanding, because they really just wanted some simple revenge. And then all of a sudden you're living your life out like a warhog and a freaking rhino. I mean, the toilets they got to go through. Speaking of toilets, man, I don't know. Anyway, but you've got Ben Bates, Dustin Weaver, Sophie Campbell, and Yanni Milono Yanni. I cannot say that name without messing it up. And colorist Bill Crabtree doing everything here. This is insanity between 2 pages. It's totally like Turtles in Time video game where you're just hopping through a bunch of stuff. Except, you know, there's a lot less turtles and more warthog and rhino.
Just as much time, though.
Just
very
as much
time travel heavy.
That's right.
It's
Very
awesome.
time travel heavy.
And over at Vertigo, I have got the end of a beloved series, at least to me, Last Gang in Town. This was sort of part of the last wave of Shelley Bond's whole Vertigo relaunch. It wasn't really a relaunch, but she took over as the main editor. I can call it that. I don't know. They put out like the most Vertigo-like Vertigo books in years.
I know.
But this was a super energetic, like ultra cartoony series about 70s Britain and the punks who want to make crime cool again. Written by Simon Oliver, art by Rufus Dayglow, and colors by Julia Brusco. This is just a load of fun. It's a comic book how comics were meant to be. Like, if you miss Mad Magazine, back when Mad Magazine had legitimate comic strips in it, this is the book for you.
Jack Davis shit.
And also, it starts out with a gigantic devil horn Trump with tiny, tiny hands.
Right, you're gonna buy that on that alone. What's wrong with you? And this is... Okay, so it's not... it's almost June. It is June. 10 years ago, in June, I moved to Seattle, and I found this comic book called Casanova. I was never the same after this. There's certain comics in my life that have just always changed me. And this was the comic that I'd been looking for years and years and years. And it happened, and I read it, and it was just beautiful, and I was transformed, and whatever. And we are 10 years later here, where Fraction has teamed both brothers of awesomeness, Ba and Moon, under one package to bring you the newly amazing, still psychedelic, and very occultly deranged crime psychedelic stories of Casanova Quinn in a world not of his own making. Kind of like Howard the Duck, a little bit, but way more psychedelic and a lot more sexy spy stuff.
I'm sure there's a Duck Casanova out there somewhere.
There probably is Duck Casanova, but Fraction, anything you've ever read by Fraction is crap compared to this comic. All right, this is the greatest
Hawkeye,
thing.
crap.
Tracksuits, crap. All right,
Odyssey,
Bros,
crap. Everything's crap.
Compared to this comic. Not to say those are whatever, but this is it. This is the comic the man was meant to write. This is the thing that burned a hole in his brain until he was able to put it out. This is truly beautiful. I would recommend starting at the beginning, though. But if you're really brave, you could just jump in all the way to the deep end and let your third eye open and dissolve and, yeah. But maybe, disclaimers. That might not happen to everybody. I think that's about it.
Yeah, that's
Make sure
about good.
you watch the DC video as well. Lots of stuff happening there, and again, a great chance to get in on the ground floor of hopefully something they won't change in 5 years. So, we'll see you guys next week.